Well, I think we are disturbed by the fact that the combatants and the parties to the conflict are not listening to international public opinion or the resolutions of the Security Council. But we do feel that the most urgent need now is an immediate ceasefire. And that's why the Secretary General is himself gone to the region to try and ensure that that takes place.
Do you have any expectation that Israel is even noting your concerns right now?
Well, we are very concerned about some of the developments in Gaza. As you know, there are now over 1,000 casualties. One-third of them are children. We've had the main pediatric hospital there attacked. We have a school that has been attacked, as you know, and a lot of the displaced are children, and they're all just trapped in there. We can't evacuate them. So it is of great concern, and we hope that Israel will realize that this is a situation that is untenable and really on the brink of a humanitarian catastrophe, and that they will stop. And we also hope that Hamas will stop shooting rockets into Israel and provoke a reaction as well.
Do you expect any accountability?
Well, we hope that the systems of justice will ensure that at some point. Already, as you know, the Human Rights Council has asked for independent investigation, especially into the bombing of the school. The UN itself will be doing its own investigations. And I think at some point there will be accountability, perhaps for the actions of Israel, and also perhaps of Hamas.
Really?
Well, I know you're skeptical, but it is extraordinary in other areas also. People think that there is no accountability, but at some point, it may not take the form of a court, but there are other ways in which accountability and other issues are resolved, issues of transitional justice. And there may come a day for the Middle East where people will call on systems of justice as well as truth commissions and others to bring out the facts and to hold people accountable. We can't rule it out.
But might it not be more effective? I know you're trying your best, and I know you know there are particular difficulties, especially with regards to conflicts involving Israel. But perhaps if you were to say right now, look, we have evidence of war crimes, for example, and you seem to be sort of edging around these sorts of issues. But if the UN Special Representative on Children and Armed Conflict made perhaps a more emphatic statement rather than expressing grave concern, might that not make a difference?
Well, I think at this point, you know, we have to know what is strategic. What we feel now, what is strategic, is to try and get a ceasefire. And that, I think, is our number one priority. Accountability can only come after that ceasefire. Even to gather the evidence or to make the case, we have to be able to get into Gaza, to get the witnesses, to talk to them, etc. So I feel that all our efforts at the moment have just one goal, and that is ceasefire.
Are you surprised then when international envoys who are theoretically trying to also work for a ceasefire, Tony Blair comes to mind, the quartet envoy, he talks about a ceasefire though in terms of there being no point really in an immediate ceasefire unless Israel gets what it's demanding. That is an immediate, long-term aims of Israel's security and so on. There doesn't seem to be that urgency. Have you been able to communicate to some of these envoys the need for an international ceasefire, perhaps preceding some of these diplomatic niceties and long-term solutions?
Yes, we have been in constant communication with the firm reps here, etc. And I would say it's wrong to say that there is no sense of urgency. I think there is a sense of urgency on all sides. But the desire is to try and come up with the terms that, as you know, the Security Council passed a resolution and it's not being implemented, to come up with terms that both Hamas and the Israeli government can accept.
Right, but if even Tony Blair, the quartet envoy, says, look, there's no point in an immediate ceasefire unless it's durable, that's not helping much, is it?
Well, I don't know. I have a lot of faith that this process in Egypt may bear fruit soon. and we hope that will be the case.
But do we have time on our side? Shouldn't Tony Blair be out there, or any UN official or envoy or anyone who's vaguely speaking for the UN, be saying, look, we can talk about this, but stop the guns now?
Well, that's what we're saying. But the point is, someone must listen to us.
Right, but if the quartet, the UN's on that quartet, your own representative then isn't even calling for that.
Well, I think the UN has been calling for it, and short of we have to try and get them to implement it.
Even right, but Tony Blair's not calling for an immediate ceasefire. He's calling for various parameters to be reached and then a ceasefire to be installed. It's not ceasefire first and then let's try and figure out these parameters. It's let's get the parameters sorted out, then we can have a ceasefire. Don't you think Tony Blair might have had it wrong?
Perhaps he has it wrong, because I don't think that is what the Security Council resolution wants. I think they want an immediate and durable ceasefire, but I think they want to do it quickly and to try and get conditions that both sides can agree to. And my sense is that they are quite close to that.